Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melisa Rodriguez for those of you that don't know me, and I make videos about my medical school journey. It's been a while, I haven't done any videos, or let me just say this, I have recorded some videos in the hospital actually, and then I started the videos and I never finished them. So it always ends up like that, and then like I get lazy about editing the videos or everything, but we're gonna get over that and we're just gonna do this video that I wanted to film for a while. It is about why I have chosen my specialty, which is internal medicine, and I'm applying internal medicine residency this year, which is like, I cannot believe it, like that I'm already going to start my 4th year of medical school, and I'm going to be going through, you know, the application process, the interviews for an actual job in 2024. So that's like, well, like sometimes I just don't believe in the position that I am right now, and I feel really grateful about it. But I wanted to kind of like break down how I came into this decision, because it is really hard, and especially for people that want to go into internal medicine, it's hard because you go through all of these rotations throughout your 3rd year and you keep liking them. As you may know, you've seen some of my videos, I enjoyed every rotation that I went through. It's true that some of them were a little bit more difficult than others, but overall, while I was doing the rotation, I was actually thinking I might be doing this, you know, and I never took a decision on which field, because at the end of the day, I really wanted to do this. And yeah, I feel really excited about this video. If you want to just know how I finally took a decision, yeah, just keep watching. Okay, so let's start. This is gonna be a more extensive answer than the one you give in interviews, or the one that you may give like in the middle of the hallway when they ask you like, what are you doing? I am because I wanted to really reflect on this. I kind of like wrote a little outline of what I wanted to cover. But yeah, let's start. The first thing is the flexibility and versatility that this specialty brings about. Once you choose medicine, you have like an open door to many other things, a lot of opportunities for career development. You're not restricted on one organ system. You know, it's like you're giving up. I felt like if I specialized right away out of medical school, I was giving up on all of the knowledge that I have learned through medical school. You know, you still get to see the human body as a whole, and kind of like consider all the comorbidities that a patient have and how all organ systems interact with each other, which is fascinating for me. That's why I love medicine. At the end of the day, it's a difficult career, but everything, if you study it, makes sense. You know, it's not like I felt like physics and calculus and all of those things that I studied in undergrad were the opposite. Like you couldn't really understand, but medicine is so beautiful that you know, everything, all the pathophysiology, when you think about it, it interacts and makes sense all together. So that's one reason. I didn't want to focus in one organ system. I wanted to apply a lot of the things that I studied in medical school and work hard towards retaining that knowledge. For example, in medicine, you still get to apply all specialties. You get to, you know, apply your neurological exam if you really enjoy neurology, do psychiatry. Like a lot of cases will include psychological issues, cardiology, GI, hemonc, you name it, endocrine, nephro, infectious disease, rheumatology. You know, rheumatology is actually one that I will actually choose if I had to choose a specialty, because it's so systemic. I want to be the kind of doctor that it's kind of like a detective, and rheumatologic diseases or autoimmune diseases affect the whole body, or could affect the whole body. So yeah, I wanted to be challenged that way, not only you know, receive cases that I'm used to, or you know, a patient that it's already diagnosed and you just know how to deal with it. I wanted to that the majority of my practice will be kind of like critical thinking and figure out what's going on, or that, you know, the ED doctor admits the patient, saves their life or whatever, but they don't know the end of the story. I want to, you know, have that patient that we don't don't know what's going on, and do the workup and finally know what's going on, and having that time to treat them and for them to get better throughout their hospital course. Which brings me to the second point of continuity of care. So the hospital course, I enjoyed a lot of the inpatient rotations that I was in, because in the hospital setting everything gets done a little faster, and that allows us as clinicians to be more effective in the diagnosis and in the treatment. So it gives us a little bit of time to bring the patient from admission, acute setting, connect with the patient throughout those few days, depending on how long they're gonna stay in the hospital, and then lead them to a better place, and hopefully prevent further complications, and discharge them home or to additional rehab that they need, but not in a dangerous environment anymore. So that part I really enjoy. And hospitalists at the same time get a little bit of that adrenaline rush that I was thinking, oh, if I do just primary care, I'm gonna miss it. No, in the hospital you still get to do like rapid response calls, do minimal procedures. But the thing about procedures is that I didn't crave the actual doing of the procedures. Like I don't crave going there and opening someone's abdomen or whatever, I think that's amazing for the people that want to do it. But for me, what makes me more excited is the medicine behind it, the thinking, and like going through a step-by-step process towards reaching a diagnosis and using the therapeutic options that we have available to make them feel better. And most of the time it's not going to be surgery, it's not going to be a procedure. So I also get excited about that. So that's why I ended up going away from procedural specialties and more towards medicine specialties. I don't crave using my hands to fix something right away, and I really appreciate those that do, because then I can refer my patients to those doctors. But I'm more of a people's person. I'm more of giving myself a little bit of time to figure out what's wrong by talking to the person, making a connection during their hospital course. The next thing is the teaching opportunities and the learning opportunities. Believe it or not, I really enjoyed rounds because of the learning process that goes behind it. Most people don't like it because it becomes too long or whatever. Sometimes it could take long because medicine services, range from 18 to 30 patients depending on the day, and you keep getting admissions. It's complicated. But overall, thinking back, I really enjoyed more rounds with an attending that will challenge us and encourage learning, ask us questions, and make us look up topics for the next day than quiet, quick rounds. I didn't enjoy that because it's kind of a stimulating a teamwork approach, and sometimes the medical student or the resident may have a little bit of time to interact more with the patient and know more details that could aid in the treatment process. So that's why I really enjoy the teaching opportunities that medicine brings, and hopefully working in an academic hospital where I can work with residents and medical students, that will be, the actual goal. I don't want to be working by myself, honestly. I enjoy the team-based approach. I enjoy, talking to the nurses sometimes to get their perspective, because they spend the most time with the patients, involving case management, social workers, physical therapists. All of these people come together to improve the quality of care that we provide for our patients. So that's why it's important to work together and be kind of like a team, not only focusing on your knowledge as a physician. In terms of the teaching perspective, you may know, I've made a video about this in the past. I was the person that always went to class in person, and it's because I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the discussion, not only just, being a sponge and just absorbing things. I could do that through YouTube, right? I watch a lot of educational videos on YouTube, but when you go in person to an in-person lecture, you get to, at the end, interact with those doctors and also, encourage a little bit of the discussion that is really what makes you remember the concept sometimes. You know, if you have a discussion with someone, and especially if you connect it to a patient or to a case, you are now understanding the pathophysiology behind it. For me, it's more about critical thinking to be able to understand why everything works instead of memorizing things. So yeah, and in that aspect, also focusing on the social history. Doing internal medicine requires you to do a good social history. You need to know, where was this patient at baseline? Do they live alone? Do they have resources at home? Do they have people that can take care of them? All of these things you need in order to prevent them from going home and ended up in the same position or being readmitted again right away. So it really emphasizes the social aspect, and within that field you can also do, you know, some psychiatric components and do a mental status exam, all of those different aspects, and really being aware of how social determinants of health, you know, puts limits to care, and you know, considering that when you're trying to choose a discharge or disposition for the patient, choosing the best option that there is within our availabilities, you know. So the final point that I wanted to make is, as you guys may know from my previous videos, I love geriatrics. For some reason, I connect with older adults more, and in the medicine field, I get to work a lot with older people because those are the people that get sick the most often in the acute setting in the hospital, and I get to really, like I said, use those other things that I talked about to understand their living situations, to, you know, do a little bit of further work instead of following protocols only and applying the same medicine to everybody. When you're talking about geriatrics population, you need to also consider other things that are extra, right? You need to consider social support, you need to consider fall risk assessment, polypharmacy, make sure they're not in so many medications. Sometimes the medications are what are causing them these acute illnesses, right? You need to have more of a holistic focus, and that's what I really enjoy about geriatrics. And really, when it comes to an older person that has had such a rich life and you know, such interesting stories, and they have lived a life, they really deserve to have good care. So that's why I emphasize that population specifically is where I connect the most. So yeah, I hope you guys got, you know, the main idea of my thinking throughout this. You know, I was recently in neurology, and I was thinking maybe I will do only neurology, but again, I will be limiting myself to not practice all of those other perspectives in medicine. And at the end of the day, I know that I will be happier if my initial training, my residency training, will be a more systemic kind of training, you know. So yeah, I'm really excited for the next steps and what's coming, and hopefully I get to match in a good program that provides the education that I need. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to keep watching more of these, I will do a lot of these random talking videos with you guys, you know, because I have a lot to share. This is just the beginning. So yeah, subscribe and like this video if you're interested, and yeah, see you in the next one.